Hello, friends. So, this is the final reveal, I believe, that was shown on the live stream for the charity, for the whole children's thing, and they raised a lot of money. Thank you to everyone who showed up, and enjoy the new reveals and the devs talking about, well, what this is, because it's huge. Actually, I want to take a second and speak with you because there's some strange things in this reveal. First off, we have a mysterious creature we learn is the Astrodi, whatever. It's a space whale. Okay, we have a space whale. But yeah, these things are here, and you can see the rocks and everything around, and this vent right here. Like, they speak about oxygen vents and stuff like that. I don't know if this would be one of those vents or not, but moving on through, you can see there's low gravity, meaning if you jump, you're going to be able to jump pretty high. There's debris everywhere. This reminds me of like aberration, actually. And one thing that stood out was you see 3 of them right here, and they have the alpha glow effect. Well, the pack bonus glow effect, or whatever, and also maybe an alpha glow effect too, because these things are considered alpha class creatures. That was kind of interesting. Right here, we see a structure as well. It doesn't seem like this is all just random, you know, space rock and moon debris and stuff. There's a structure right here, and I don't know what that thing is supposed to be. It's kind of cool. Just looking around more, I don't see any strange elements, but apparently every element you could want is here. Like, I do see, maybe this is just reflective lighting here, but I do see there is something right here that might be representative of like rocks that may have minerals. And obviously in the background we have a giant planet. Now whether or not that's Earth, I don't know. It might be Earth. And this might be its own little space ARK or something. Like, I don't know. Obviously the ARK logo, but just a couple things stood out to me in this. And like you can see the rocks glow here. I think this is just a lighting effect that we have right here. We got some vegetation as well, which is kind of strange. And up in the far left, we see there's a lot of smoke as well, or some kind of gas. And I don't know if that would be a toxic gas to inhale. If you can even inhale here, because, well, it's space, so I wouldn't imagine there's anything you can actually draw into your lungs, or how that would make you, you know. And looking down here, obviously we have a giant crevice. This map leads way down here. It seems like this map may be significant in size. I don't see anything else though that's hidden around. Kind of wondering though if we'll be able to get to these like floating rocks, and maybe they'll have some special minerals or resources, and we can use these because we can tame these. But okay, now I'm gonna let the developers explain what the lunar biome is to you and these creatures.
Yeah. That right there is our lunar biome. What do you guys think? You know, this is such a great environment. It's probably the craziest biome we've ever done in ARK, because it doesn't just look awesome, but we totally changed the physics and the gravity in the lunar biome. It's like you're bouncing around when you jump. It's when you're running, you're like got a little extra bounce in your step. There's all sorts of hazards and environmental things related to the low gravity. And all of the stuff in the environment is really made for this biome, including these things here, which is the Astrocetus, is our space whale, for if you want to give it a fun common name there. These things are pretty awesome as well. I'll let Zane talk a little bit about the gameplay stuff. But the team's really excited about the lunar biome. It's just one of the cool biomes. You saw the new bog earlier on Extra Life with the Bloodstalker in it. Just like the bog, it's such a cool new place to play in the game. And we've really tried to pull out all the stops for the environments here in Genesis, as you can hopefully tell from this crazy psychedelic lunar biome. It's orbiting a strange planet. As the day cycle goes on, you're on this sort of broken moon that's like orbiting around the planet. It's got rings. There's galaxies in the background, and this crazy awesome fog. This sort of like this element fog that's kind of just roaming around, and this gaseous stuff that's there. And it's such a cool environment. What else can you tell us about it, Zane?
It's Let me get my mic on. It's definitely hazardous. It's a challenge to be there. It's very fun with the low gravity just by itself. All the bouncing around that you can do, jumping to much higher places. There will also be oxygen vents to help supplement your breathing. It does have an atmosphere. It's just a much lower atmosphere, so your oxygen will slowly drain over time. And there will be these oxygen vents that you can use to either get oxygen or actually launch yourself around.
Yep.
To get to much higher or further places.
What about the sunlight and the day-night stuff?
So, and that's the catch. As you're traveling around and as the sun is rotating around this conglomerate of rocks that you're inhabiting, you don't have a thick enough atmosphere to actually protect you. So once that sun starts to hit you, it's just immediate night and day difference. You start to roast. You start to just take immediate effects from it.
So it's a little bit like aberration, but maybe not as extreme.
Well, and it actually matches the sun.
Yeah.
We're fully going into it, and it's perfect. If you find a rock with a little place to hide under, you'll be safe. So suddenly those big pyres in the terrain are super helpful because they help you navigate around the sun and stay safe.
So if you see some shadows and you get in the shadows, you're going to be
totally
protected from that. Yeah. Or if you're running without shadows, I guess, if you can see the sun or not.
So that's going to be a little difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably, if the sun's blocked by a rock, you're probably safe, even if you have shadows turned off.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of our illustrious players that love SM4 with no shadows and the lowest quality possible, the Lunar Biome, they'll still know where the hazard's at by looking for the sun, but they will have to look for the sun and make sure it's blocked.
Yeah.
Everyone else will be able to see the shadows and know exactly where it's coming from, and it will be very clear night and day. If you're in the shadows, you're safe. If you're in the sunlight, it's a little dangerous.
Totally.
And it gets pretty fun jumping from rock to rock every now and then. That sunlight's coming straight from below.
Yeah.
So as you're jumping across, you're taking a little bit of damage, and you're just like, oh, I hope
it's
I
burning
can make it.
the bottoms of your feet as
Exactly.
you're jumping. Ouch!
Yeah.
Speaking of jumping on top of things, tell us a little bit more about this Astrocetus. Pretty sure they can have a little bit of fun jumping from creature to creature, right?
Oh yeah, these guys are amazing. Being an Astrocetus, a space whale of sorts, they have a lot of magical abilities. Their main one being that they have a teleport, a hyperdrive of sorts. And what that does is anything within their close range or their immediate vicinity will actually be pulled into this bubble and blinked into their target destination as a group or as a fleet.
And you can control that when you tame these creatures, right?
Yes. Once you get through the taming process, which is not going to be an easy feat. These things are definitely an alpha tame. They're a top tier tame, so they're going to be a very difficult thing to get, and they're going to be a limited thing to get. We don't want everyone having 1,000 of these. They are going to be very, very, very capable.
I still imagine like about 4 or 5 of these blinking in like Star Destroyers coming in to like
Yes.
mess with somebody.
Well, and then once they get there, what are they going to be bringing? What is a Astrocetus really going to be doing? And in all honesty, their travel abilities are really all they're good at in combat. They have a great bite. They have an awesome tail whip, which looks beautiful. But compared to other dinos, that's not much. But they do make up with their saddle, which is next tier of any saddle we've ever done. Because this saddle comes equipped with three ball turrets.
So it's like a World War II bomber or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can not only bring your fleet in with you, but you also come equipped with gun turrets to just pummel the enemy or whoever's coming after you.
Or like the Millennium Falcon or something.
Yes, or like
Nice.
the Millennium
Get on
Falcon.
the gunner. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
cool. But what if they're not tamed in the environment? I think you can jump on them and they're kind of docile, aren't they? Unless you kind of provoke them.
Yeah, they won't mess with you, and they'll leave you alone. If you do provoke them, they will definitely try to push you out, and they don't like being stuck in one place.
Yeah.
They're very difficult to get locked down, and part of that taming process is a very involved tame, and if you try to game it, it's not going to work out well for you. They can blink out of existence.
Indeed. So what else we got in the lunar biome? We got any fun missions or any like fun little cool things that happen there?
It's funny you say that. We haven't said anything about missions.
This whole time. Well, now's as good as time as
missions
any to talk
completely
about
under
a
wraps.
little bit of missions.
So
we did our best. We did real well.
well, there was one guy that was just consistently asking, and I
Yeah,
wanted to say
yeah.
something, but it wasn't on the schedule, and I don't want to break.
Well, you know what? We don't have to talk a lot about missions because we do want to kind of have a more fun reveal of that later. And
Oh, yeah.
the missions are super cool. There's a lot of like really fun, both action-packed but also exploratory and relaxing. There's like a wide variety of mission types. But let's talk about one right now that's just a little bit of a silly fun mission that we decided to throw in. And what is it, Zane?
So we're gonna have dodo basketball, or in space
On the moon?
we're gonna have bulldog basketball.
Nice. So it's
Because
like
that's the best basketball.
so it's like Space Jam and the moon.
on the moon.
Low gravity basketball as a mission.
Low gravity made this actually a really difficult thing to do because initially we started off with normal values, and low gravity works really well. Projectiles
Yep.
go a lot further with a lot less force. So whenever I first started this mission, we'd already built it out for a different place.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
well,
and
we'll
we
look
started
forward
converting
to
to low grav. It was just launching the poor thing into space. I felt so
I can
bad.
imagine there's probably so many things on lunar with the low gravity that have been like.
Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, and I've played it a fair bit, and not only is it fun, but sometimes it's super disorienting. Like when
Yes.
when you're doing a little bit too much, and you get kind of like the low gravity spins going on. How's
So
that trigger?
every time you've seen, so it also has its saddle that will convert its energy that it gains, its natural space energy, into bombs, and then those will be what the rider can control and drop from its bomber mode. So you can teleport in, drop bombs, covered on your way out, and then if the teleport recharges in time, which it's not going to be a quick recharge, but if that engagement you've survived, you're able to teleport back out. And then the faster you're going, the straighter his turns have to be, or the narrower his turns have to be. And if you overturn, it'll actually slow him down. So he's something that you want to build up momentum to get to an effective speed, because if you come in at a low speed or you come in on a sharp turn, you're going to get slowed way down and be a very, very vulnerable target because you're just floating almost in space.
Nice.
So how you move, how the pilot controls this thing is extremely important. And choosing when.
It sounds like a pretty powerful thing. It's maybe a little more high level to really.
It's definitely high level, and it takes coordination. Like
Yep.
the whole team needs to be working together, and it's a team tame. You can control it solo. You can be sitting in the turret and just whistling it around. It's a little difficult because you got to go forward and then look to where you're aiming, but even solo players will be able to experience the full plethora of what this whale can do and what he can deliver.
So what about some of the other creatures we might find on the lunar biome? Is there anything that's hanging out there, or any creatures you might want to bring in that are particularly helpful?
It's going to be a very, very, very unique biome. Being that it's a low gravity, low atmosphere environment, the creatures that can survive there are going to be very unique creatures. A lot of them we've seen in Aberration because they grew on a planet that was or an ARK that was destroyed and was toxic in a hostile environment. So Reapers would be a common thing. Our favorite Pterotoothuses are definitely going to show up. I like to think of them as the Minoc of the lunar biome, but I'm just a nerd. And then, of course, we'll have quite a few of the bionic dinos there to supplement the environment and also create a challenge. It's not going to be a low-level experience. This is definitely the higher-end, very, very, very challenging environment.
So from what I gather, we have space whales that can drop bombs. That's what I gathered alongside a pretty cool environment. This thing being able to phase out of reality, I guess, and teleport at will and stuff, and being a difficult tame. Kind of interesting, actually. A very unique creature. It doesn't share the same I guess, micromanaging that we've been seeing with a lot of stuff yet in this DLC expansion, but like, we don't know everything about these creatures either, and things are subject to change, I'm pretty sure. But guys, that is it for now on the ARK reveals and the final ARK reveal. I will see you